Hey everybody, this is Darwin Reina. I'm the Festival Director of Hospitalejo Obregat International Film Festival in Barcelona, my city. Today we have a great filmmaker. I'm very impressed by this movie, and I think everybody in Spain is going to enjoy, especially in Barcelona. The name of the movie is March. It's in our festival. We have the director, JP, we got Jael, and then we got Kevin, which are the two actors, which are nominated, as well as JP nominated as well.
Hey guys,
JP, how are you?
good. How are you? Thanks for having us, Davin.
I love it. I'm very happy you guys are here with me. So I'm gonna start with you. We have the actors. We coming later to the actors. JP, where is the idea coming from? Because the writer was Richard, right? How they
Yes.
do you know how he developed the idea? Why he wrote this film?
Yes. Richard and I go back like 3 years, and I was working in Atlanta when I met him in a writer's room. And we kept on working on a few short films. And one day he said, "I have a couple of scripts that I want to work on. Do you want to see?" And he showed me the scripts. One of it was a big budget sci-fi film, and the other one was March. And it really struck a chord because of the chemistry between those two friends. They were more than friends; they were blood brothers. And while reading that and going back and forth, uh, when I spoke with Richard, he mentioned that the idea came from the loss of one of his friend who was in a similar situation.
Mm,
And I have a similar situation where I lost my close friend and my cousin. And that was really what pulled me in. And, we went from there. We wanted to make a proof of concept. And that's when March came out as a byproduct.
wow, I got it. I got it now. Now I understand. Very cool. So how was the pre-production, JP? It was a long process. How was it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, it was a long process. I read the script first in 2017, and I was in India in 2019 when we were planning to make a feature out of this. And it was like almost we worked on it for 6 months, trying to first get the locations and then casting. And once I came back to Atlanta. We spent almost a month trying to cast, and that's when I met these beautiful people. And we went from there, and you have proof here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those guys, we're gonna be with them soon. Uh, awesome. So how was the production time? How long was the movie? How many days shooting?
So we wanted to shoot like a 3-minute trailer, and we picked like started with 3 pages of the script, and then we expanded it to 9 pages. And we
Wow.
didn't have a lot of resources and budget. So we planned it in such a way that we shot on 3 locations every day, and we only shot it for 4 days, but they were spread throughout 2.5 months. So though it was only 4 days of production shoot, but it was spread around for 2 months. And it was
Wow.
really fun shooting in summer in Atlanta. There are many, but those we worked for 3 months for pre-production and everything. But end of the day, once the shoot starts, everything boils down to the first shot. And we were just standing there on our first location. It was beautiful light at 7 o'clock when we started. Everybody was there, but the lights goes off so fast, and it's already noon until we got our
Yeah.
first shot. And we were running. It's always running against the time. That's the main issue we had. But once we had our first shot, everything was smooth. And there are so many things going on. And before you get in front of the camera, behind the camera, you think that you're going to be focusing on the shot and everything. But it's mostly the logistics that keeps you behind. It's like, okay, is the food coming? Do we have the costumes? Are they in makeup? And
Wow.
it's like, unless you have a great producer like Richard, who's going to take care of all those scenes so that we can focus on the shot, the logistics basically.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, a producer is so important. You know that. That's for sure. Very important. So how do you cast Jael and Kevin? Tell me a little bit. Do you know them before, or they
No,
audition for you?
no, we did not. Our beautiful casting director, she got us these beautiful talent, and almost 150 people auditioned for our film, and she
Wow.
filtered out all the cast, and she gave me like 4 or 5 options for each character. And we did a whole day of casting where we, interviewed everybody, and from there we picked and chose. And that's when I don't know if Kevin and Jael knew each other, but they were on opposing sides, and it was really fun watching them do their characters. And we were almost done with our casting when I thought, like, okay, let's put these two characters together and see how they'll do. And once we put them together during the audition, they just gelled up so well. And I'm like, okay, we found our guys. We didn't even have to go further.
Wow. Yeah. So now we have Jael. We're gonna talk to Jael, which he plays Seneca in the film March. Jael, tell me what was the thing that get your attention to do the film from the script? What do you like the most? You know? How are you, buddy?
Um, excuse me, it's cough.
Oh,
I I really like the. I might not use the right words here. There's probably some actor history heads that know the right words for this, but there's some amount of mysticism to the
yeah.
film. It's to me, it's very reminiscent of that sort of new. It's all connected in Atlanta. It's a very like mystic sort of energy coming out now, like such the show Atlanta that Childish Gambino wrote and all that stuff. Um, I love in this production how there's this supernatural side of things, but it's it's done in such a way that is to show that the character is experiencing these things in real time. Like this is real for Seneca
Right.
having lost his best friend, and
Right.
just the question of why did his friend dies, but then he's seeing his friend as a kid, and like that sort of bond between two guys is really really interesting to me. It's especially interesting also because I feel like, and I've told the director, I've told everybody this before. We don't see a lot of friendship bond stories between two black males that doesn't, or at least I haven't seen a lot that doesn't include like um like shooting things up or like looting or like specifically black males. So like to do a project like this where
Let me talk with Kevin. Kevin, so what was the thing you like from the? How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you having me.
What was the thing you liked from the script the first time you read it? Say, wow, this is I gotta do this. What was the thing?
I kind of like that it was a little bit of everything. You had like this playful spirit with two brothers who are like growing up, and they're like it was just like that story, like they're in high school or just getting out of high school type feel, and like everything's fun, and it's about the girls, and it's about, oh man, like we got the first car, and it's like we going through life together, and we're joking, and we just have this chemistry is it's a really beautiful thing between like as like growing up, we all had that one friend that was like, man, you just
Yeah.
felt like you would never like be apart from him, and then kind of life happens, and they might go off and do their thing, and just stuff happens, so it kind of gets at the beginning of like where you're having fun, and it's like you just don't get those years back. I like that. And I love the fact there was just different parts of the story that hit deeper, and then it
Yeah.
kind of tied everything into one place, like with everything happening with the wrongly accused survivors. That's a real thing. That's a real thing with fathers being being told that they're not their kid, and then obviously the death of Adonis happening. These are
Right.
things that have major impacts, and it affects everybody. Every part of the story kind of ties in, and where one situation you think it would be such a different situation, it all ties in to be like such a close-knit thing. And that's actually how the world is. You know, we're such a small world. We don't even realize it, you know? So yeah, that was really cool to me.
Wow. You guys know each other or before, or how do you guys prepare each other, those characters? You guys meet before and work out together, or it was really fluid? How was it?
No, not at all.
We
We didn't know each other at all. We didn't know each other at all before this project. I didn't know Jael. He didn't know me. We knew a few people. I mean, Atlanta's small. You know, when it comes to actor community, we knew a few of the same people, but you know, we kind of were just on set, and when we were going over the lines, and even in between takes, it was so cool. There would be times in between takes where we would find things that would just appear, and it'd be like, you know what? I like that. Like, I like how that felt. And so we just ran with it. We had confidence in what we were doing and the relationship that we had kind of created with these two characters. And we just let it flow. We were just like, you know what? We're just going to do this and we're going to have fun with it. And in the midst of that, it created that chemistry. You felt that brotherhood through the camera, you know, and it was like, you know what I mean? So it was like, man, we're just having fun, and we're being our true selves in a way, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was good, man. It was really good.
Wow. Jael and Kevin, tell me what was the thing, each of you, that you liked the most from JP, the director, as a director. I get you in the spot.
JP, I feel like me and JP have, in fact, our initials. Well, my initials is his name. That's the first name. But I just like the fact that JP, he has a certain sensibility of, it's almost like you think that he's on a very like no BS, you know, sort of place. You look at him and you think like, okay, he seems really, really serious.
The biggest thing that I liked about JP is that he had confidence in us. You know, I mean, essentially we're on a tight time frame here. You know, we have a skeleton crew. You know, we got a crew, but you know, everybody's got their job, and some people are doing 2 or 3 jobs, you know, at a time. And so when you got your actors coming in there, and we on a, you know, like you said, you know, we don't have a lot of time. So time is always of the essence. And you're giving these 2 actors that you don't know, that, you know, you cast, but, you know, you got to give us kind of the reins to do what we do, and you got to trust us. You know, it's like that trust is a big deal, you know. And so he trusted us to do our thing, man. And that was a huge deal for me, because when a director can trust you and he can guide you, that's when magic starts happening.
JP, I want to be in your movie, man, next time. Huh? Please.
Definitely, we'll work on it.
Hey, JP, tell me, what do you like about them? What do you like from an actor?
Oh, there are so many things, but
tell me three or 2 things.
One thing is, like they mentioned, the trust, it's mutual. You know, I'm very thankful for all the cast, you know, for trusting me on this journey. And next thing is the hard work, because most of them, everybody who worked on the project, they were working on multiple gigs at the same time, and none of them complained. They were there when we asked them from dawn till dusk. We worked like 13 to 14 hours every day. And the worst thing was we shot like 2 to 3 locations. Sometimes we had to drive for an hour to get to the other locations. Nobody complained. And
hey, let's go to post-production. How long was the process of editing the film? Who did it for you? Or you did it, you were sitting with the editor all the time? How was that process?
So we had 2 editors. One is Eileen, and she did our first rough cut. And then we went to our next editor at ECG, Joe, and he did a wonderful job. I'd give them notes, and based on the script, they assembled the first rough cut, and then we would exchange notes. And because I was out of town, and they'd make the change, and we'd go back and forth, and Richard and I would schedule weekends and sit with the good thing about it is they all worked in the same company, ECG Productions, and it was really a good blessing, because we didn't have to go to different places to get our work done. Everything was in-house. And once we finished the editing, it was passed on to the music and sound guy, and they would just and make the changes. And I didn't sit there for a long time, but the few hours we sat, we just got the work done.
Wow, nice. So, the music that you mentioned, the music. So, the music, how do you decide the music? Do you see it before you start shooting or in post? How's your process to approach to the music that you want in the film? Because that's very tricky,
So
actually.
the one thing I lacked is music. I don't have music education or anything. And by the time we came to the music, we were tight on budget, and we did not want to, by we, I'm referring to Richard and myself, we did not want to, compromise on the quality, and we didn't have the budget or time to get a composer. But we got some really good music, and I would give the whole credit to Richard for picking up the music. I'm sorry he's not here, but he did a great job picking up the tracks. And I would ask him because culturally I am not, music is an important part of what we are trying to portray here. And since I lacked an introduction to that music, I would request him to, pick some tracks, and then that way I'll have choice, and we can work on that. And he would pick 2 or 3 tracks for each and every scene, and we would finally decide on which track to go. I'd say 90% of the credit I'll give to Richard on the music.
Yeah, definitely. So how, JP, tell me this, how do you decide? How do you decide is your final master? Is the one, is the last master that you're gonna put out there? Do you get feedback? You show it to people? How do you decide that? Or you do it more internally, like whatever you feel to? How's for you working?
That's a great question. I mean, the fine tuning, it never ends. Even
Yeah.
10 years after you finish your work,
Yeah.
you're going back to it like, oh, that is a small tweak. I'd like to make it. So
True.
there is a point that where you have to say, okay, I'll get my hands down. We have no more tweaking. It's really challenging, but like you said, uh, we've shown it to family and friends to begin with, and our peers, making after we fine-tuned the first cut and everything before we went to the final cut. And we took the inputs. It's not the creative inputs, but usually, though they're not trained in the craft of filmmaking, but as an audience, everybody is intelligent enough that to pick the nuances when the story is not flowing or when there is a plot hole or something. And those are some things we draw upon from the feedback and make the changes. The main, the boss is the movie that we are catering to, and it has to flow. We thought it would be like 25-minute short film, but we had to tone it down and make it so tight that it came down to 17 minutes.
Honestly, I felt pretty good.
Yeah,
I felt
nice.
pretty good because, that was one thing that me and Jael we had talked about and stuff. It was like, we didn't want to be fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think just for me as a person and going into this game of acting, like, no matter what you do, like, even if it's feeling stale, then you're not listening. You know what I'm saying? So let's listen. Let's get an atmosphere. Like let's actually be here. Well, how would this, how would I feel if you said that, how would I react? And speaking in truth in that, you know what I'm saying? So like when the product came out, man, I felt like, this is dope. Everything was so natural from the jump that it didn't feel like we had to really act, in a way. Like we just had to get into character and play the character for the circumstance, but it wasn't hard, man. I felt, and then I feel like that came out in what everybody saw, because everybody saw that chemistry.
Jaya, what do you think? You like your performance, or you are very critic to yourself? Be honest, man.
I tend to be very overly critical of myself, but
Nice.
in this project, I was surprised. I was surprised. I was just speaking on myself. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed watching myself work, and the reason
Nice.
why I was able to enjoy it because I was actually seeing in many moments I was seeing the story. I was seeing that I was not in the way of the story being told, and that really like warmed my heart. Like that was a real win for me, just looking at my own work. So I was very pleased with what I personally was able to achieve. And as a whole, well, with me and Kevin, he's already said it so well, man. But like, I really, the wanting to be real, the wanting to like really. I mean, it sounds so cliche, like saying we want to dive in, you know, we want to dive. You know, actors say that stuff all the time, but like for me and Kevin, it was like we would have these conversations in our rehearsals and stuff, and like we'd be going through the lines, and we're like, wait, man, like let's go from this part, or let's, you know, what do you think about this? Like this doesn't, you know, this doesn't work, or like maybe this is saying this. Like I remember we spent like 15 minutes on like one little beat or something. I don't know if Kevin remembers, but like we were outside on somebody's car, like just doing lines on front of somebody's car. Like,
what kind of feeling you want them to have? We all know. Don't worry about this question because we all know that every mind is different, and you know some people will get it. But for you, what do you think is the feeling you want the audience get after they watch the film?
By audience, I was very looking forward to watching it with everybody in a theater, but COVID came and it destroyed.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to that. But we had an online premiere, everybody liked it. And one thing, once the lights go off and it fades out and audience is walking out, I want them to, you know, reach out to the person next to them. You know, there are some, I mean, life is getting so hectic, especially in this COVID world. And we forget the time we spent with our close friends. We may not get to see each other. It's family or friends. And we are swept up in this flood of life that, excuse me, we don't, unintentionally, we are not able to spend time. I want you know, them to reach out to them if they are next to them, give them a hug, or else call them and say, "Hey, I love you, I miss you, and let's grab a drink."
That's great. That's great, JP. Guys, thank you very much. Congratulations, all of you, for your nominations. It's really well deserved. You guys have to feel proud. It's a very great project, man. All right.
And thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for your time. Okay, Jael and Kevin and JP, I appreciate big time your time and to share your experience with us. All right, guys?
Thank you. Stay safe out there.